Good afternoon, everybody. We're almost there. Almost there. A few more to go, then we all go. So I'm here to talk about our Pick It Up program project. How did we start? I don't think anyone in the room is going to disagree with this quote. We sort of had this floating around our office and started thinking about what else can we do. Are councils doing enough? Are we doing enough as a group of councils? And how can we help? How can we improve? So we started looking at, and as Tim Silverwood said on Tuesday in his opening address, there are a lot of community groups out there doing work for us that we didn't know about. They're picking up litter. They're doing it for us. You go along a walk along the coast anywhere and you'll see somebody just grab one or two items themselves on their daily walks. So then we thought, how can we help? A project is born to provide the tools for community volunteers to pick up litter on their daily walks, record critical information that council can use to form strategic litter actions in the future. Sounds simple, doesn't it? It's not. I'll go through our stakeholders first so we can get to the duck's guts of it all. We've got our 5 councils. We've got 4 of those councils are on the coast. We've got lonely little Wingecarribee that we keep reminding them they don't have a beach. But they do have a river system that leads to the major catchment area for Sydney water. So they still are important in the marine debris side of things. We've got our funding partners, EPA and the APC. We also joined forces with Tangaroa Blue and the Marine Debris database, which is one of the best databases I've used. Then we've got multiple community groups. There's thousands out there. So where are we? We're in God's country, as everyone's going to say. Along here, you can see that I've put in the red a majority of our sites that we were collecting data from. There's 66 sites that we have collected data from community members, stretching from the top there of Wollongong right down to Ulladulla. So how could we help the community? We decided that we could give them a kit. If we give them a kit, we can get data back from them. They can do this safely, relatively safely, and just to entice them to help along. First thing was a bag. Do you know how hard it is to pick a bag to give out to the community? Give them a cloth bag. They're picking up stuff that's coming in from the ocean. It's water, logged, put in a cloth bag, yuck. Do we give them a plastic bag? No, no plastic bag. So then we thought, what can we do? Boomerang bags. So, in comes the boomerang bag. It's a grain bag that has been re-sewn for us from boomerang bags with a strap on it. It's lined, so it's relatively waterproof, but if it does get yucky, you can just hose it out. So we've got now 750 of these sitting in our, well, we're sitting in our office. So that's our bag. The hardest part is the sticker. How do you screen print on a bag? Oh, I think it hit down that side. I'll grab it. Yep, no worries. How do we get our messaging on the side of the bag? You can't screen print, can't do anything else. So we came up with the sticker. Relatively good, seems to work. Is that? There we go. Gloves. Just rubberised gloves that we can give to people. Again, they can be washed. If it's a bit icky, they will pick it up if it is a bit icky rather than using their hands. Our sunscreen, which is refillable. Our hand sanitizer, microbead free. Microbead free. Our how-to manual, which basically just went through some of the hazards. If you do come across a needle, don't pick it up. Who can you talk to in your council if it is something hazardous? And just through the do's and the don'ts, the basic idiot guide. And then the most important part for us was the data. it's a big gap that the councils don't have the data for. So what can we do? So we started looking around, and then we came across the marine debris database. And as I said, it's a phenomenal database. It's not hard to use. It's an open access database. So any of us right now could log on to that database and have a look in our area, what people are doing and what's being collected. So the best part about that is councils can then use it to pick up valuable information that was never there for them. So again, we developed a little pad that came with the kit that was tear off. So you could fill your items in with all your information. Then they posted that to us. We then collected them all and then entered them into the marine database. It goes into a lot more information than what we get with our the ones from the EPA, the local litter check I was trying to get out. It delves a lot more into a lot more information. It's not just plastic, it's what type of plastic and things like that. The other interesting thing was also little things like weather conditions. You know, was it windy on the day? Was it raining? Had there just been a storm? Is the litter they're picking up blown in? Was it washed in? So that was an important thing for us to monitor to see if it's a weather-related incident. So that there is a quick snippet of the summary which you'll get from the database if you enter an area in. And I'll give you the items across here, how many were picked up over a certain time. You can delve into 1 day, 1 hour, 6 months, 12 months. So what I'm going to do now, I hope this works, it worked 20 minutes ago, is a short film which we've developed, and you two are laughing. A short film that we developed which I think has been the best outcome from our program, and you'll see when we go into it why.
The biggest concern about litter is that we're in an environmentally sensitive area, very close to the beaches, and so litter has a huge impact. Obviously what's lying around in our streets and from people not placing it in the bins provided ends up in our oceans and causes quite a lot of damage, not only to our waterways but to our marine life. There's
a lot of research coming out saying that there's more and more plastic in the ocean.
More people are becoming aware of it and there's more people doing something about it, and you can see these awesome organisations down here coming together to, you know, not only pick up rubbish but also raise awareness.
I just can't get my head around why people do it. They enjoy these spaces but they leave their rubbish behind.
The problem with plastics in our ocean is that they're an accumulative thing and it just breaks into smaller and smaller pieces till it eventually ends up in our food chain.
All the community groups coming together to pick up rubbish off our beach to try and educate the public that plastic and rubbish do not belong in our ocean.
It's about community and people working together for a common cause and doing something that makes them feel good.
80% of the pollution in the ocean comes from land. So if we can reduce how much we use, make sure it doesn't escape our clutches, or more importantly, if you see it on the ground, pick it up. Take 3 for the sea and you've made a difference.
The information we collect goes into the Australian Marine Debris Database, and that information forms the basis of the source reduction program. So it's a great opportunity for people to get out there and get their hands dirty, but also a great way to get involved in some citizen science. It's not just about picking up the rubbish, but it's about finding information about that rubbish as we do it and challenging us to make better decisions as we go on.
You have to refuse plastics. You have to rethink the plastic option. Plastics just never go away. They don't degrade, they just get smaller and smaller and smaller and eventually either end up in the soil or in the ocean.
It's not just a one-person operation. We need everybody in order to make our beautiful beaches here clean.
It's the future of my children. It's our community, it's our place, it's our purpose.
It's important that all of us get behind this campaign because it's not just words, it's actions.
I've learned from this program that we have an amazing community and it's so easy that if you all team up to tackle a big problem like this, you can get it done.
These are your beaches, these are your areas, you know, just go and do your bit and it's very easy.
I think things are starting to change, but I think there needs to be more pressure applied.
It actually gives me hope and encouragement that people can and I can make a difference, not just a sense of, oh, something I've got to do, it's something you want to do.
Humans can have a big impact on the environment whether it's negative or positive, and it's great to be here as part of a push that's positive.
The Pick It Up program is not just about today. We've actually have the Pick It Up kits available to anyone that's interested in grabbing a resource kit that will enable them to pick up litter on their daily walks. So anyone can just drop into council and pick up those kits free of charge. Anything that people can do to help the environment is really greatly appreciated.
They're picking up all the rubbish.
It's my home.
Yeah, what are we going to feast on?
Rude.
It's unbelievable.
I'm a ball.
Yeah.
So that film was used with social media and to really drive the program. I think the film's great myself. I think it sells the message and it's worked well. I can delve into some of the data that we've collected till date. These are our top 10 items across the 66 sites for the last 6 months. And as I hope everyone can see, that out of the top 10 items, the top 8 contain plastic. Again, it's no surprise. There is something missing. And I don't know if anyone's going to catch on to it, but we'll keep going. There's something missing in there that we all assume will be there. So that's the top 10 items. So what I'll do now is I'll dive into 4 sites and give you a bit of a breakdown. And I've picked 4 sites that we need to do more research for because the data doesn't make sense to us. And you'll see why. So the first one is Belmore Basin at Wollongong. Beautiful spot, open and used by tourists, locals, very busy location. They've got a walkway that runs across the top here called the Blue Mile. They've got a small fish and chip shop and a couple of little takeaways and another small coffee shop here. And it's a very busy spot. So no surprise about our top 5 items. Except we're thinking about the glass. Where's the glass coming from? So that's one thing we're going to be delving into a bit more and see where the glass is coming from. Another spot which is a little bit further north, which is the lagoon area. You can see the top there is where the basin is. Again, big park, small takeaway shop, kids playground and lagoon fed. Foam insulation packaging is top spot, top one. Then plastic, and it's plastic hard bits. So it's not packaging from food, it's hard plastic. So the first thing we think of is the takeaway shop. That's the culprit. You go and talk to them. All the food that they hand out is in paper bags and cardboard. So where's the foam coming from? You then look back, I'm going to keep flicking back and forth here, this is the lagoon area here, this is the creek that feeds it. All this area here is industrial area. So when we've done some observational data, there's 2 takeaway shops along here that has foam insulation packaging. So this is where the data is helpful to know where it's coming from for our source reduction plans. Another one in Kiama, which is Jones Beach, a beach that has no train line, limited access to, mainly used by locals. It's not a tourist spot at all. People will drive past it not knowing it's there. Plastics packaging, and it's huge. It's nearly 50%. Where's it coming from? Obviously we can tell it's not used by lots of people. There's no cigarette butts or anything else like that. So again, we've got to figure out where it's coming from. Another one, Bombo. You'll notice with Bombo is that is a train line, and then just past the train line here is the main freeway. But again, it's not a beach that is used by tourists much. It is a great surf beach. So again, it's a lot of locals. Foam insulation. And then also cigarette butts is in there, but a bit further down. And again, we've got our hard plastics. So this is what we now use to drive our next litter projects to find out where this stuff's coming from. We think, possibly, that the freeway corridor here, this here is all covered on the sides, so as the top, this section here is low and open. Is it blowing off vehicles? Is it coming from vehicles here into the creek and then out? These are the things we've got to try and figure out now. Our achievements. So what we've had, we brought a partnership in with Tangawara Blue and got Haiti down, and she trained 72 key stakeholders in the community in the database section. They then used the information that they received out to their community groups and disseminated the information that way. I've got to hurry up now, I've been told. Over 1,100 volunteers, which equals 14,000 volunteer hours across 66 sites. Now, keeping that in mind, I was told to make this rhetorical, but we'll see how we go. How many items do you think we've picked up? Quick, throw a number. 20, come on, 20,000. Keep going. 60, keep going. Keep going. A little bit less. 154,000 items our volunteers have picked up. That's great. How many kilos? Come on. 100? Come on. Keep going. 2,400 kilos. So, and these are our volunteers doing this for us. For the waste people, how many wheelie bins? Come on. Come on, this gives us our volumes. 100. Oh, come on. 650 wheelie bins full of rubbish. Unbelievable. Which gives the councils close to $500,000 saving, because the volunteers have been picking up the rubbish for them and putting them in the bins. I think that's great. It's sad what they're picking up, but it's still great. What do we do next? As you can see, what we need to do now is we need to go back and revisit the data. We need to find out where these things are coming from and then implement our source reduction plans. Rupert gave a great example that Steve Beeman gave yesterday. You put a bottle in at Rose Bay and it ends up at Cronulla Beach. If we didn't have that information, we'd pick up that bottle at Cronulla Beach and go, oh, we need some more bin infrastructure here, and this wouldn't happen. It's still going to happen because the problem's in Rose Bay, it's not in Cronulla. So that's where we need to go to next. Sorry? Oh, what was missing from the top 10? Plastic bottles. So now we have to go back and figure out why is 40% of our littered items plastic bottles, but it's not in the section that the guys are picking up. We believe that it is that the councils are picking up the larger items, which is the easier items to pick up, and then these guys are coming along, and because they're looking for the rubbish, they're picking up the smaller items. They're picking up the cigarette butts. They're picking up the corner that you rip off the packet of chips that falls, but they put the packet of chips in the bin. So now we have to work with council and see, do we need to change some of the practice and how they pick up the rubbish? Is some of it one chip packet that then goes through the lawnmower, turns into 20 pieces of plastic? So that's what we need to do next. Thank you very much.